Well, good day to you. This is the Doctor, as you can plainly see, and this is my latest video log, an update on my various travels, with a particular focus on my use of the Vortex Manipulator, a rather recent acquisition, and proving quite interesting. Yes, taking me to all sorts of curious places. And I suppose it's fair to say, putting me in a certain amount of danger. And that's where my tale begins today. You may or may not know that the Mountain Mauler of Montana, a famous wrestler, learnt all his best moves from me. But one can never rest on one's laurels. One must always keep moving forward. And so I decided that I needed to acquire some more skills, yes, so that I could defend myself in more than one way. As you know, I do not approve of guns, bombs and so forth, so this seems to be a better way forward for me, at least. So I decided to try my hand at Venusian Aikido. So I went to the planet Venus and enrolled in their classes. And they were very happy to help me. Yes, indeed. So I went to the changing rooms and discarded my frock coat and my waistcoat and so forth, and went and took my place for my first lesson. Little did I know how the day was going to unfold. As I was, I think they call it limbering up, getting ready for the first exercises, I suddenly felt very dizzy. It's very rare that happens to me, of course. And then the whole world seemed to go topsy-turvy. And I think, just for a moment or two, I must have lost consciousness. When I came back to myself, I was no longer in the practice yard, in the Venusian Academy. No, indeed. I was transported to some altogether other place. I didn't panic. I looked about to try and get my bearings. Where could I be? Where had I been brought to? And perhaps guessed by whom? I looked and I saw that it was a vast space filled with every kind of game and toy imaginable. So, it was easy to work out my location and the identity of my captor. I was in the realm of a toy maker. Yes, he got me again. You see, even though I had defeated the toy maker and destroyed his realm, the mind is indestructible, and so is the toy maker. But he had survived. And now, here he was again, with his new realm, all stocked and ready to play games again. As I glanced about the great chamber, I noticed an ornate and very impressive cabinet in which were arranged hundreds and hundreds of figurines. So I went and examined it more closely, and I was amazed with the attention of detail on each particular carving. And do you know, there was one of me. Yes, how odd. My mind is very acute, and I began to put the pieces of the puzzle together very quickly indeed. Yes. I had discarded my clothing, and on my items of clothing would have had my genetic imprint. And somehow, perhaps, the toy maker had gathered that data from me and had placed it in the figurine, so that he could anchor my presence in his universe. Yes, that seemed the conclusion that best fit the evidence. I continued to look about the place, wondering what would befall me, and then he appeared, grinning from ear to ear, like the Cheshire Cat, I suppose. "Welcome, Doctor," he said. "Pah! I'm not bothered about your greetings," said I. "Send me back home, immediately. I defeat you to before. What makes you think this time will be any different? Release me, Toymaker, and we'll say no more about it." "Oh, Doctor, Doctor, would you deny me a little game?" said he. "Certainly. Pah, I know what you're like. If you think I'm going to play a game with you, well, you've got another thing coming. You'll twist things to your own advantage, Toymaker, and I can't abide cheats. No." "Doctor, Doctor, I must protest. I will abide by the rules. And if you win, then I'll let you go free. You can return to your universe. No strings attached." "Ha! You expect me to trust you?" said I. "Not on your Nelly. You'll have something up that embroidered sleeve of yours. Some trick. I refuse to play." "Then you will stay here forever, Doctor." "Ah, that may be so, Toymaker," I replied. "But if I don't play, then you will be denied the satisfaction of beating me. And surely that's what it's all about, isn't it? You winning and gloating, He smiled, but I could see from his eyes that he was angry with me. "You know me too well, Doctor," he said. "So, how can I induce you to play?" "Well," said I noticed from that cabinet a very fine set of figurines, yes, and you've even taken the trouble to produce one of me. Well, that's very flattering indeed. Well, Toymaker, I will play your game of chess if you will allow me the courtesy of playing with the figurine that represents me." He frowned then, and I suppose perhaps he'd realized that I'd tumbled him, yes, worked out his plan. Because it was obvious to me now that if he possessed my DNA, even if I won the game and he let me go free, he'd just simply bring me back again. I'd be back to square one, enthralled to him. Thankfully, he didn't think I was clever enough, I suppose, and so he agreed to my request. "Very well, Doctor," he said. "You may play with your own piece." And so our epic battle began. And as so happens in chess, you lose one piece, and then you take a piece. You lose a piece, and you take a piece, and so forth, and so on. And as the game drew to a close, I made a strategic move. I sacrificed an important piece. Yes. Well, the delight on the Toymaker's face was obvious. And in his delight, he made a fatal error. He underestimated my strategy. Indeed, indeed he did. And made a rash move straight away, and then fell into my trap. "Ha ha! Toymaker," I said. "Checkmate! I've beaten you. And now you must make good your promise and release me from your realm." He was furious, but he had to obey his own rules. Yes. "You've beaten me again, Doctor," he said, "and don't think I won't forget it. We will meet again, and then there will be a reckoning. Spare your breath, Toymaker, and send me home. You're beaten. Live with it," says I. And so he gestured at me dismissively, as though I was some sort of lackey, and I began to become incorporeal, fade from his reality, so that I might reappear in my own universe. So quickly I thrust out my hand and grabbed the image of me from the board and clutched it to my chest for dear life. And as I faded from the Toymaker's realm, I heard him cry out, "No!" For his defeat was double, for he had now no means of recalling me back to his realm. For the genetic imprint on the figurine was in my possession, and thereby safe. The world went topsy-turvy again, and I appeared back in the practice yard in the Venusian Aikido Academy. And they looked at me strangely because I was on the floor, and they hadn't noticed me fall because I'd have been away in the Toymaker's realm for the blinking of an eye. So I got myself up, brushed myself down, made my apologies, and returned swiftly to the changing rooms, where I put back my own clothing, activated the vortex manipulator, and came back to the ship. Well, here I am, safe and sound, and able to chalk up, we might say, another defeat for the Toymaker. And now I suppose I should show you the image that he fashioned of me. Well, here it is. Isn't it fine? Yes, a lovely little likeness of me. Yes. Very flattering indeed, as I said to the Toymaker. But I will need to keep this safe so that it cannot be used against me. I have a vault in the TARDIS, and I think you'll be very safe in there. Yes, indeed. Well, that's me up to date with all my travels and tales. Now I must return to the console room and see what Stephen and Dodo have been up to. Hopefully they haven't been pressing buttons again. I can't stand it when they try to figure out how the ship works.